Grow. Hi, welcome to Just Grow. I'm Darla Snow, and today we are transplanting. So with me I have some of the tomatoes that we planted in the last segment. I also planted some basil. You can see that the tomatoes certainly have 2 leaves. Some of them are even going for their third set, and the basil's looking really good. So we're just going to transplant them into bigger pots. For the tomatoes, I'm going to use this size. I'd actually want a bit smaller, but I can't get my hands on anything around where I live. So I keep old pots and little things like that, and they come in handy sometimes. So we're just going to fill it up with a great potting soil that you find in your garden store. We're just going to press it down a little bit, not too tight, not too loose, just right. So there's a bit of airiness in there still. And then you can find yourself a pencil. I have a pencil. Sometimes you can use something called a dibble stick, which looks just like a pencil. So everybody has a pencil, and so what you do then is you just, maybe I'll put a little bit more in there. You just take your pencil and make a hole, about as low as you can go. A nice hole. The dibble stick's a little bit fatter, so it doesn't fall in and that kind of thing. So that's what you get ready to put your tomato transplant in there. So I'll put this off to the side. Now, this is what I use to take out of the tray too, is a pencil. Is you can just lift up the tomatoes or whatever you're transplanting, and don't be afraid to hold them by the leaves. They're pretty sturdy. So I'm going to take all of them out because I'm not going to use all these tomatoes, but I'm going to pick the best ones that I think are going to survive and thrive really well. So you can take them out of your tray. I believe now you can really see. So I look at them and I find ones that aren't too tall but have a lot of leaves on them, or at least 2 leaves. So this one looks pretty good, and you can use your pencil or you can just pull, but you can just pull them apart like that. So even when you look at them, you can say, oh, look how long the leaves are, look how long the roots are, which one has the best looking roots and the best looking leaves and aren't too tall. So I'm thinking, see, look at how tall this sucker is here, but he's not much different in roots, a little bit more. So I'm probably going to take this guy here. He's got lots of roots. He's not too tall and lanky. He's got a nice set of second leaves, and I'm just going to pop them right in here like this. And I hold them while I kind of put the soil around. Don't be afraid to hold transplants. They're pretty tough. Then once I get them in there, I just push them down a little bit. I can take some of the rest of my soil there and put it around. It's okay if you cover up some of the stem. In fact, it's better that way. They have opportunity for more root growth. There. And you just want to leave, you see on some pots there's an actual ridge on where you fill it up, but you want to leave about a centimeter or so at the top. That way the water doesn't overflow. So that's their tomato. Then I like to mark them unless I know what it is and I won't forget. So this one is a Pompeii, or Pompeii, as my husband would tell me, tomato. And I just stick it in there. So I marked it with a P so I know. Alright, I'm going to leave these because I'm going to do some more of those. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to push these guys off to the side. They're okay. The soil was nice and wet, so they're not going to do anything. I'm going to use these coconut coir pots. I really like using the plastic ones. They're just easier to water and keep inside, but I can't find any right now. So I'm going to go for this. I had this sitting out, and so I'm going to use these to do the basil. I like to plant basil in pots because they really like hot soil. So if you put them in the ground, it takes longer for the ground to heat up every day, and it doesn't stay quite as warm as a pot. So I tend to grow all my basil in a pot, and I grow lots of it because I love it. So I'm going to show you. These guys are a little bit smaller, but if you're doing a 6-pack, same idea. So you just want to fill them up. I'll just do 2 today for you. Press down the soil, not too tight, not too loose. Like that. Take your pencil or dibble stick, make a little hole. They don't need a real big hole because you can see they're a little bit smaller than the tomatoes. There you go. And the same thing, look and see. Look at the great leaf structure, the great root structure. Find a good one. Even, don't be afraid, but you can even press down a bit with your pencil gently just to get them down in, especially some of the smaller transplants. And press them down. I'll do one more. I see this great thick, nice thick stem. Nice thick stem and the lovely second leaves on there. You can really see the difference with the tomatoes between the true leaves and the first leaves that come up. And here's the basil. They almost look a lot alike, but these two will die off, and this is the actual basil right here. I take my little pencil. These ones are harder to poke in and get him nice in there because he's quite tall. And fill it in. Pack it down. And that's it. So when you're planting this coconut coir, you just have to, you can get a X-Acto knife or a knife and you can cut here when you're planting, or you can try to rip them. It's a little easier to use scissors or a knife, and then you just pop them in the ground like this. You don't have to pop them out. The roots will grow through. This coconut coir will break down a little bit. It'll take an actual really long time to really break down, but for things like basil and smaller rooted items like that, you can really, these are okay for. But I always like the plastic because I do like popping out the actual plant and breaking apart the roots before I plant them. So, but this is okay for today. And then we're going to give it a good water. I'm going to water mine. Let me move this. Actually, I'll make a bit of a mess so you can see. We want to water it so that the water goes right through to the other end. And if you want to see how to water, watch my segment on watering indoor plants. There's some tips there on how to water pots. So that's going to take a little while to go through. You can even use a spray bottle. I didn't grab this, but I can feel it going through this one. So you might have to do it a couple times just to get all of that peaty soil wet. And this one's still going. You see how long it takes? So you can wet your soil first. I didn't for this segment. I'm just basically showing you how to do it. But it is easier if you wet your soil first, then it goes down a little faster. Don't forget, when you transplant, now you can use fertilizer, so follow your instructions on the fertilizer. If it does have a ratio for transplanting, use the ratio it suggests, and we have that in our segment of watering plants. There's some information on fertilizer as well. And if you want, try to use filtered water, but if you don't have access to it, that's okay as well. Alright, that's everything for today. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to see more videos like this one. See you!